Hello, g'day, I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube. Thank you for joining us for our 7-day Australia-only forecast. And this week coming up, or the next 7 days coming up, the tropics are still kind of bubbling. There's not a lot going on up there, but there's this energy that you can see trying to come out. So we're going to talk about a couple of lows, one up near Darwin, the other one is over towards the far north Queensland. And then we've also got high pressure dominating to the south down here. You can see it on the animated wind map. This is the main high pressure zone drifting along. Notice the southerly flow right up into the top of Australia. No wonder many of you have noticed the drop in temperatures, especially along the eastern coastal side of the continent. On the other side, still pretty hot. Places like Broome are still getting into the mid-30s. But over here, in the Gascoyne region, we've got ex-cyclone Olga, which is currently around Exmouth, and that's about to bring in some rain, or it has already, because this is quite early in the morning. And then up here, that is that low we're talking about in the Coral Sea. It looks kind of ominous sitting there with that little dark center to it. That shows low pressure. But this big block of high pressure down here is probably going to decimate that system. It's like a buzzsaw. It kind of cuts into it, cuts the top of the storm off. And then we've got this other low up here to the north of Darwin. That one is mostly going to stay out at sea. So this is where we are with ex-cyclone Olga first thing this morning coming in here. 1,004 hectopascals or millibars, not very deep. It's basically fallen apart entirely. The red line, tropical. You'll be noticing that tropical humidity if you live over here in the west, but not a huge amount of rain, not a huge amount of wind, but a little bit of welcome wet weather, I'm sure, for those of you lucky enough to get it. Let's take a look now at the longer range forecast going through till the end of next week, basically Thursday a week from now. And we kick off with Friday, tomorrow's outlook. There is that low to the north completely falling apart because of all this high pressure expanding up to it. So it is there. It is a little system to keep an eye on, but for now, it's falling apart. Further along the eastern coastline, the blue that you see shows cloud and showers. Doesn't mean a wet day, it doesn't mean it rains all day, it just means there's the risk of showers, and if it doesn't take very much to notice, it is only coastal. It barely even makes it inland before you even go up over the hills and ranges. So it is a very much coastal system along here. Same with the north, that low to the north is raining. Is dropping rain to the north out at sea. And then the leftovers of Olga, here's the good news, drives in some wet weather to these very dry parts of Western Australia. I'm sorry, Perth, you're not likely to be getting much wet weather at all. In fact, your next 10 days still look dry. I know it's been unbelievably dry in Perth over this year. And so these thunderstorms and showers, they're mostly out at sea. And down here in the southern parts, not a lot going on. Cooler winds for you for really the next week ahead. Nothing sensational, and rain on the west coast of Tasmania. Tasmania again, Saturday, still got showers and rain on the west coast there. If you're over on the other side, it is drier. I feel bad that because of the shape of Australia, you're right down here at the bottom of the screen, this little kind of dot that we're looking down at. But you know, when the weather does matter down here, we'll shift it so that your main screen in the middle. But for now, you just got lots of showers with that westerly wind. Going into Sunday, again, not a great deal of change, but the winds do die down quite a bit around Victoria and ACT and some parts of New South Wales. So a bit of a cold night in Canberra coming up for Sunday night. I think you're down to about 4 or 5 degrees, which means other areas further afield will be similar. You see the wet weather here along the eastern side, not so much in Brisbane, but south of that, coastal New South Wales for the most part. Not a lot going on there. The leftover showers from Olga, they're kind of spreading down further. Kalgoorlie will be getting them, but I don't think you'll be seeing them in Esperance or Albany or other parts there. And then further over towards Adelaide stays dry. It stays dry obviously for a big part here of eastern Australia. There is nothing coming for you in the short term. And that leftover low to the north falls apart. Now you've got wet weather kicking off from Sunday around Cairns and northwards. You're seeing more wet weather from the leftovers of that low that we just showed you before as it falls apart. So next week, Monday, more showers along the eastern side, all along really many eastern areas. It doesn't change. Southerly flow coming in here around that high. Showers clear off from the west, and you've still got that easterly breeze blowing along. So that keeps the temperatures higher in the west, up to the 30-degree mark and beyond. Whereas the eastern side, some of you are only just getting over 20 degrees, sort of 22s to 25 degrees, quite common along this eastern side of Australia. Obviously the heat from the red line northwards, that's where it's tropical. By Tuesday of next week, see what happens up here. That low, yes, it's gone. There's no tropical storm, but there's plenty of showers, and they'll start to really build up along the coastline here from Townsville northwards, you'll really notice those showers. There's more over here as well, moving in to the Northern Territories. That low just skirts to the north of Darwin by the looks of it. So not even that thundery for Darwin at the moment. It is pretty quiet. That high pressure zone down here going all the way up to about Mount Isa. Wednesday of next week, again, that wet weather piling in around Cairns. Take a look at your rainfall totals over the week ahead. I wish we had a website in Australia. We're working on it. Might be a long way off still, but we've got this idea to launch what we've got in New Zealand, because it really does show you quite clearly daily rainfall, and it uses all of the models that we show you here kind of combined into one source. The high down here is the main feature though. Even though it's so far down, it is expanding up and keeping these systems into the far north, and even in the Northern Territories, it is not overly wet at the moment. So we get to the end of next week, or at least 1 week from now, I should say, showers carrying on all along the eastern side of Australia, not really pushing far inland. So places like Bathurst and Mudgee and all those areas in here staying mostly dry. You might get a couple of these showers that just spill over enough for you, but it is pretty borderline. It won't be very much. Similar story down here as well. This is quite a strong high tracking along, and believe it or not, there's another one coming in behind it. So rainfall for the next 7 days, not a huge amount, but certainly around the Cairns area. You're off the scale here, 150, 200, 250 millimetres possible, which is normal really for you, spread out over time. Further down the coastline, you're talking 10 to 15, maybe in this area here, 30 to 40 around Grafton, Port Macquarie. Not a huge amount, and they are hit and miss, some of these showers. So it's not raining every day, and so not much coming in for all of these inland areas. Finally, our place to be, Trinity Beach in Queensland. What a spot. I've been here a couple of times. Really cool area. Now, as you can see, beautiful weather when we showed you this, but the forecast coming up, dry until Saturday. But from Sunday onwards, those showers kick in, and then that rain sets in to next week as well. So if you're around Trinity Beach, just north of the Cairns airport, which is just a little bit this way, I'm actually on the flight path. You can see the plane there. By the way, cool walk around these hills, looking back on the beach. That is all from me. Have a great 7 days ahead. Thanks for your support of Weather Watch TV. We'll see you on Monday.